Time now for the GEICO 15. GEICO, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save. All right, we have the Super Bowl matchup. Cincinnati hasn't been there since 1988. Oh, baby, they are going to party. Acid wash jeans, spiked hair, rat tails for everybody. It's been a while. And they're going to take on the Rams, who will play at home. Matthew Stafford never won a playoff game until this year, and now he's gone all the way to the Super Bowl. To get our GEICO 15 in and figure out what's what, let's bring our guy in, John Breach. That's right, you know the name. Part of our great team here, CBS. And his dad was the kicker for the Bengals the last time that they played in the Super Bowl. So, John, let's first talk about, you know this fan base. You were a Bengal fan. Your dad was a Bengal player when they went to the Super Bowl. What's the fan base mentality right now? Is it anything from disbelief to now expecting to close the deal? I mean, tell me what it's like to be a Bengal fan today.
It's everything. It is shock and disbelief. I think a lot of fans can't even process the fact that this team is in the Super Bowl. I mean, we are talking about a fan base easily top 3 in the NFL as far as how much heartbreak they've been through, how many times they've had their souls tortured, whether it was Carson Palmer tearing his ACL in 2005. 10 years later, they come back with a great team in 2015, but Andy Dalton gets injured at the end of the season. The whole team melts down at the end of the game. They lose to the Steelers. It just seemed like if there was one team that could always find a crazy way to lose in the playoffs, it was the Cincinnati Bengals. You go 31 years without winning a game, and even going to that first wild card game this year, there was that timidness, the expectation that eventually the wheels were going to fall off the wagon, the ride was going to be over, and they were going to lose. And that feeling is gone. It feels like the fan base has taken on the personality of Joe Burrow. Everybody's Joe Cool now. Now you're thinking, you know what? We beat the Raiders. They beat the Titans. They beat the Chiefs. The Bengals can beat anyone. So it is weird to see so much confidence from Bengals fans, but that is what it feels like most of them have right now.
Third time in the Super Bowl for Cincinnati. The first 2 times they went, they played the 49ers in both games. The first one, back in the early 80s, Joe Montana on the other side in both of these games. And the first one was the first cold weather Super Bowl ever played, was played in Detroit. Then there was 88 that we talk about, the last time there. Close game. The pass to John Taylor to win it. You're there. Little 7-year-old Johnny Breach. What do you remember about that game?
Yeah, here's a fun fact for you, EK, that I was 7 at the time. My parents didn't want to take me to the game. They told me that I had to name every NFL mascot. There were 28 teams at the time to be able to get a ticket. Boom, I aced the test, got my ticket. I specifically remember almost the entire fourth quarter. It is burnt in my memories. I don't have a lot of memories from prior being 7 years old burnt up there. But my dad's field goal with, I think, 3 minutes and 16 seconds left, that put the Bengals up 16-13. He had scored 10 of their 16 points in the game. It felt like, you know what, the Bengals might not just win, a kicker might win MVP. But no, John Taylor sees John Candy. They drive 92 yards down, and Joe Montana hits John Taylor 10 yards out with 34 seconds left. And so here we are, 33 years later, still yet to see a Super Bowl win. But you know what? We could see a kicker win MVP, maybe Evan McPherson, and they're playing an NFC West team. So maybe this is the Bengals' entire franchise history coming full circle.
I'm going to get a bold prediction from you coming up. Maybe that will be it. And you mentioned John Candy, that story famously, if someone doesn't know, after your dad kicked that field goal and the Bengals are ahead, Niners got to come down and score, a lot of pressure, place going nuts, and Joe Montana, to loosen up his offense, walks into the huddle and says, look in the end zone. First row, is that John Candy? And it was. And they all sort of chuckled and then relaxed, came down the field, threw what should have been a game-losing interception, but then dropped, and then Lewis Billups. All right, so now let's talk about the quarterbacks in this one. You have Matthew Stafford. You have Joe Burrow. If you have to put a check next to one or the other for edge in this game, who gets it and why?
Yeah, I think this is a close call. I will be fine if somebody wants to argue either way, but I am going with Joe Burrow. I think he has been the better quarterback over the past few weeks. Matthew Stafford played pretty well, threw for over 300 yards in the NFC title game, but he's made so many mistakes. If you just look over the past 7 weeks alone, he's thrown 9 interceptions. That's an average of more than an interception a game. We saw it in the NFC Championship where he made one major mistake, was throwing an interception when the Rams were on the verge of scoring a touchdown. He almost threw the game away in the fourth quarter if Jarquiski Tart didn't drop the easiest interception, what would have been the easiest interception of his life. So, and Stafford just keeps making throws like that kind of befuddle you because he plays so well the rest of the game. And he really struggles under pressure, which is something Joe Cool doesn't do. January Joe Burrow, he goes out there. He's been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL all season under pressure, which is good because he's probably going to be facing a lot in this game with the Bengals offensive line going up against Aaron Donald, going up against Von Miller. But Joe Burrow has been playing mostly mistake-free football, and he has just been clutch in these big games. We can go all the way back to that college football national championship game. You put him in a big game, and he's been unstoppable.